I'm Elaine.
And I'm Rachel.
And welcome to
Legs Out. And away we go.
This is the podcast where we tell you about Formula One our way. The races, the cars, the drivers. We are obsessed.
And here's why you should be too.
Take two.
Take two.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Elaine.
How are you feeling now?
Well, guys, I have come prepared. My dukes are up. I said, Elaine, I'm going to need to take a shower. I need to eat. I've fully prepared myself for the Blue Flags battle.
All right. So full disclosure, we recorded almost 60 minutes of content 2 days ago that got very heated.
Cutting room floor session.
Very, very heated to the point where Rachel had to pet herself to calm herself down because I got a little yelly. So we were like, hey, you know what? This is what we all maybe should do. Let's learn from this. Let's take a beat, take a few deep breaths, maybe forget, and then you can come and revisit it with a little extra space in your mind. Shocker, I'm still angry, but I'm a little less angry than I was 2 days ago.
You have big feelings about this, and that is fine. There are a couple things that were handcrafted to tick you off specifically within this race.
Boy, did they know.
Yeah. And I'm on the plumb other side where I'm usually ready to be no, stick up the FAA, little sword I'm stabbing the camera with. But this time I was I'd really love a sunshine and rainbows race.
Okay.
I want to love Formula One unconditionally. And then
here's the thing is that we're obviously talking about the Hungaroring, the Hungarian Grand Prix. This is our recap, y'all. Honestly, some people we've gotten some feedback from viewers who thought the race was just so kind of boring.
Which is crazy to me.
So if you want it to be that way, maybe you could just choose to view it as it was a normal race. On the other hand, you could view it as what? The WTF
F. Yeah.
So many Fs.
This is a race that halfway through, I'm taking notes, and I had to type in my own notes, I don't understand a single thing about tire strategy in this race. I was so confused in a great way because we always ask for variables, we ask for variability, we ask for different teams making different choices. And my gosh, did they make different choices? I actually still, take two, didn't check if anyone actually accomplished a one-stop this year. It was really hot. I don't understand why there wasn't a heat wave warning, but...
Don't think so?
I don't think so because I think it would only be one of the back runners that I didn't get to have as close of an eye on. But Kimi Antonelli...
Give him
one little extra. I'm you need a little cuteness
that
in your
was
name.
Adorable. A little ititito.
Antonelli. FFFF. Great.
FFF.
He tried. He failed. Not on his part, but the team was you gotta come in. And he was no.
Please, don't make me.
Gave him a British accent. The man is Italian. Good. Okay. So now that you're prepped for the chaos that this race experience was for us, let's take a quick pit stop at the newsroom.
Oh, welcome to our newsroom. We have one big news drop for you, which I am sure you already know. And that is, we will in fact be having the Bahrain Grand Prix in Malaysia.
In Malaysia. Makes a ton of sense, right?
Totally.
No bizarreness there.
We also were given a stern slap on the wrist to say it the correct way, which is the Gulf Airways presidential race of Bahrain in accordance with the kings of both provinces in Malaysia and His Majesty Greatness.
Yep, checks out to me, right?
Perfect.
Yep.
No notes.
No notes. I honestly never pay attention to the actual official Grand Prix names. I know I'm a details gal, but this is something that I'm I don't need the extra marketing. So I think so many other F1 fans have been delighted a little bit by the irony of, again, the Malaysia Grand Prix, but not. It's the Bahrain Grand Prix in Malaysia.
Yeah,
and then you add the extra thing of Gulf Airways. Whimsical. That's just peak F1 sponsorship right there.
Yeah.
Where did the money go? Where did the money come from?
It's all over our foreheads, slapped against us from the computer in our face.
That is such a visceral image, Elaine.
That's what it feels like sometimes.
But what is actually truly exciting about this newsroom is I think we're all super freaking excited to go back to Sepang.
That is so true. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, so we are here to be grumpy and sunshine.
And sunshine.
So here we are, y'all. Rachel will pull me to the light. I will try to drag her into the shade occasionally.
Give me a couple thunderclouds.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? For funsies.
Yeah.
Also, I have an update for you.
Yes.
I can sneeze in under 10 seconds. It does not, in fact, take me a full minute to sneeze.
Can confirm. It happened right before we started recording.
I just feel like in the interest of full clarity for our audience, it doesn't take a full minute to sneeze. In case you were listening to our last episode, you know what we're talking about. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, get back on it, y'all. Stop missing episodes.
It's summer break, so you got plenty of time to catch up. We will also, little pin for us going forward, we will be doing a series of quote unquote like forgotten tracks that F1 used to visit, used to be on the F1 calendar, and have unfortunately fallen off. Some of them have gone into disrepair, and it's very sad. Some of them host 1 million other motorsports series and are alive and well, and we're just like, oh, that could be fun. Do you know what, while we're in calendar chat, there is a rumor right now that unfortunately, again, this is all coming from a not great reasoning in that the Middle East conflict is happening. But that may mean that it extends further into the year, meaning that like Qatar and Abu Dhabi are also not an option. That's not good. That's not the good news.
Hate that.
Exactly. Hate that. What the small glimmer of interest for me is that it's possible that the season finale will be in Imola.
Oh, swoon.
Bring back one of my favorite Italian tracks.
Yes. Hands down. I love this.
Yeah.
That was a juicy little snack that you shoved in my mouth. I didn't know what it would look like, but I opened it, and I'm glad I did.
Good. Yes.
Sometimes you regret it. Sometimes you don't. So, thank you.
Yes. Imola would be delightful. Malaysia.
Yes.
But also Bahrain.
Yeah. Bahrain, Malaysia, as they are one entity now.
Yeah, apparently. That will be just squeezed right in between the Azerbaijan and the Singapore Grand Prix. And if you have been listening to our episodes, you've probably heard that we were like, don't add any more races. That's a terrible idea. You're going to tax not only the drivers, but also all of the crew involved on the teams, in broadcast, blah, blah, blah. However, here's a key thing that happens when we go to Malaysia is that geographically, all three of those places are quite close.
Yes.
This is not a trip from Azerbaijan back to Europe, back to Singapore that is an absolute logistics nightmare. This is instead a decently... It's never going to be simple to move an F1 car and a whole crew, but in comparison, a decently simple and more sustainable way to just them right on over to the next country.
Yes. This is also important of note because of time zones.
Yes.
The drivers try to keep their sleep schedule exactly the same no matter where they go, which means that sometimes in certain countries they're falling asleep at 3 a.m.
Kudos, y'all.
So that they can wake up again at, I don't know, noon? It's just bizarre to me.
That's a sort of black magic that I don't have nothing in my body can align with those practices.
I can always sleep more, I will tell you that.
Same.
Literally always.
Well, until I'm on a plane, and I planned to sleep on the plane.
But that's because it's exciting. You're going somewhere new, or you're returning from somewhere exciting.
The F1 drivers, some of them actually still fly publicly, but a lot of them have jets. And so I suppose that's a lot easier when you can be like, hey, I'm going to sleep in my schedule that's been set up for me. Then I will just arrive at the, what's it called, where they take planes off? The taxiway? No, the airway. The tarmac. We got there in the end, y'all. They can just arrive at their private tarmac at the designated hour and fly away to their wonderful exotic country they go.
I was just going to watch you go through that.
Thanks.
I was not even going to try to step in. Case in point, though, there was a picture of Arvid Lindblad and Liam Lawson, I think in a Gulf Airways, like a commercial jet. It was just like...
Can you imagine?
Yoo-hoo.
I think that we're both proponents for giving the drivers
yes.
space.
Hear ye, hear ye. Give those drivers space. If they do not look like they want to talk to you, here's the thing. They probably don't want to talk to you. So you can surreptitiously take a little camera phone picture. That's it. Maybe you want to accidentally bump into them and be like, hey, mate, great race. Good luck for the other one. Good job. Can I smell you? I'm just going to... You smell delicious. Don't do that either. That's what I want
We
to
say,
do.
be respectful, but also sniff them. I don't know if that's quite the messaging that we...
Someone told me that Max Verstappen smells the best out of all the drivers, and I will not lie, that might be the best fact I've ever heard about Max Verstappen.
Yeah. If you're ever
Bar
sad,
none.
you can just pull that little detail out,
Oh
dust
my
it off.
God, what I would give
Apparently sniff it.
to just get a whiff of
One day.
his
One
F1
day.
manliness.
Oh, boy.
Off the rails already. Okay, can we go to qualifying?
Let's go to qualifying, which was also kind of off the rails.
Yes.
In that not only did we have a switch up for the pole setter, but also behind him there were quite a few penalties that the running order.
This was very exciting.
Yes, it
for
was
me.
a great session actually.
In case you missed the race, which you probably did not if you're listening to this as a surprise to pretty much everyone, Lando Norris in P1. McLaren, what did you find?
Well, they put some upgrades on the car, and I think they all, as many teams do, played it down like, oh, you know, you don't generally find that much performance right away. Like, you want to slowly grow into your upgrade package, right? No, McLaren said boom. Well, and let me specifically say, I think that Lando said boom. What a weird way to...
said boom.
Boom! He did. I think both he and the team were quite surprised to find himself on pole.
Yeah.
Because Mercedes got beat handily.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even with the
Surprisingly.
penalty that Kimi Antonelli gets in qualifying, Lando Norris beat him.
This was not the Mercedes track.
Which I am frankly surprised because there have been so many different variances of circuits that we've been to in this season, and yet Mercedes has just triumphed at each of them.
Oh, yeah.
The only issues have been, frankly, reliability or, George's performance, and Kimi has found a way to adapt to every place. Monaco, Spa, like these very disparate tracks, they've been great. I think that we can tally it both to maybe the car didn't suit this circuit as well, and also the teams behind them are slowly advancing.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Maybe. I mean, based even on last season, switcheroonies left and right.
Yeah.
You think you know what's going on? You don't know what's going on.
No, they like to keep us on our toes.
Yes, they do. All right, so the day of qualifying, we had Lewis Hamilton in P2
Yes.
and Charles Leclerc in P3. So it did look like the Ferraris had it. Sorry, I had to phrase it that way.
No, you're correct. I sighed deeply because similar to Monaco, not to bring that up again, but this looked like it was going to be a weekend for the Ferraris.
Yeah.
We're saying that we weren't sure whether this track suited Mercedes. Everyone was on board that this track suited Ferrari. And they fumbled it. They fumbled the ball this weekend. In this episode, you all know that I love the Ferraris very much, and I also love Carlos Sainz. You will not hear me defend any of them in this episode.
Oh, that's why I got so mad. That's why. All right.
know.
I was like looking over our notes like, where did I go off the rails? Well, I can keep it under control.
Well, first we talked
There
about
it
Oscar
is.
Piastri.
There
Then
it
we
is.
talked about Carlos Sainz.
God, it was like, it was a giant, tumultuous shit salad. All right.
Oh, no.
That sounds terrible. All right. Well, Rachel.
Yes.
Penalties for both Hamilton and Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah.
You told me it 2 days ago and I still can't remember. Why did they get penalties?
Lewis Hamilton's, frankly, warranted in my opinion. He was all but parked in front of Oscar Piastri on an Oscar Piastri flyer in qualifying. He and the team, Lewis, kind of apologized for the fact that that was something they absolutely should have gotten right. Kimi Antonelli's, however, I don't really think was that warranted. His was a yellow flag infringement, and I listened back to some of the commentary that everyone was convinced that that was going to be one that slid through. And so It seems like everyone was rather surprised that that one was to the letter of the law, and that meant that Kimi Antonelli was not in the top 3, not even in the top 4, I think.
No, so Kimi Antonelli ended up in P7.
Yeah, behind George Russell.
Behind
Crucially.
Russell. Yes, this is crucial because Russell had a pretty terrible lap. He ended up in P7 for qualifying, but then with the penalties, he ended up getting bumped up to P6.
Right.
That is crucial for him, or should have been.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so because of this new order, we had Lando Norris in P1, Charles Leclerc in P2, and we had Oscar Piastri in P3, even though Piastri had qualified only 5th. So fuckery abound.
Yes.
This is just great shaking it up. Didn't you call it a snow globe?
I did.
That was
I
such
did.
a great metaphor.
Yes. I feel like the first P1 through 10, or really just P1 through P8 kind of, was in their own special was in their own special snow globe, and that snow globe got shaken with avidity, and then everything behind that, they're in their own snow globe, and it was just soft, peaceful on the shelf.
Okay.
Nothing changed.
I know that you love when I say Hungaroring.
Yeah.
I love that one sound effect somehow comes out once an episode, and it is my absolute favorite. Yes.
I'm glad you love it, because for the 3rd time I did it in this episode, I was like, Rachel, similar to colloquially. I was like, make a different choice. But that is podcasting, y'all. Welcome.
You know what we should have included in our newsroom? We just learned that Rachel has no idea how to whistle.
Oh, I can't whistle.
I would love to hear your fake whistle.
I was trying to replicate your... Yeah, and I cannot, know that I cannot, so I just said... which wrecked everyone at the table. You know, sometimes you just kind of give it your best shot, and if you fall short of the moon, at least you're in the stars, right?
Oh, that was beautiful.
That was PRBS. That's what it was.
We wooed that.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm very excited because we have a very special segment this episode, which is
Tech Corner with me.
with Elaine.
Woo! Buckle up, B words.
Yeah.
Here we go. So I noticed this track. Was that an elbow?
No, that was me buckling in.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Safety first.
Hall
Safety
monitor,
third.
Rachel. All right. Safety third for me. So I noticed on this track, everything felt a little bit more narrow. I was like, why? Well, coming straight from the Belgium track, this one just seemed much more narrow. And so
a little pinched.
I checked. Sure enough, the Hungaroring is shorter or more narrow in width than most standard updated tracks.
I love these kind of details.
I knew you would, Rachel.
Delighted.
So at its widest, the Hungaroring is between 10 and 11 meters wide.
Ooh, okay.
Which, in today's money, that's my favorite murder joke for sure. In feet, 10 meters is 32 feet. To put that in perspective, the starting grid has to always be 15 meters wide, which is about 50 feet. So as a standard, and even older tracks, they have to find a way to make sure that the starting grid is 15 meters wide.
Interesting. Can it be wider than that, or does it have to be 50? Do we know?
Oh, at least 15 is what
Okay.
that is what, from the information that I have. The pit lane has to be a minimum of 12 meters wide.
Yeah.
However, there are tighter tracks. So this is actually not the tightest track ever.
Is it Monaco?
No.
Oh.
Do you want to take another guess, actually?
Oh, Baku.
Yes. Baku is 7.6 meters, which is 25 feet.
Sheesh. Okay.
Yes. And standard minimum width for new permanent tracks, 12 meters. So Hungaroring is smaller than most, like the newer tracks on the circuit. Las Vegas,
Yeah.
Miami. Those tracks are at least 12 meters wide at every point.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, I wasn't wrong. Isn't that interesting?
You were. That is when I find some of my favorite facts, is when you just have a thought pop into your head and be like, I wonder. And that is the beauty of pocket computers. It's so great that you're like, I have a question. I can flip through the world's encyclopedia.
Let me find my pocket computer. Beep boop, beep boop. 1980s calling, hello.
Hello, hello.
Dial-up tone. Buzzwords. Back to the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Wow, I was wondering how that one would cycle out. I love it.
I didn't know.
Shall we go to Sunday and the race? Buckle up, buckle up. Where's your buckling?
No buckles.
Safety third.
No buckles. Unhinged racing only.
Excellent. Okay, results. We'll lay that out first. We had a beautiful first win since his World Driver Championship. Lando Norris takes P1. It was stellar. It was gorgeous.
And you might think, well, of course, he qualified P1.
Ooh.
He should get P... that makes sense. No. There was complete buffoonery in between.
Yeah. A tumultuous race for Lando. P2. Who's on P2, Elaine?
Do. Max Verstappen. He's doing God's work on the track. Amen. Church of Max forever. King of strategy with Hannah Schmidt.
Okay, I was like, hold on. There is a queen in there, and that is Hannah Schmidt.
His queen is Hannah, and she is lovely.
We will get into that because I am so impressed with that tire choice.
That won the race for Max. Well, that secured P2 for Max, hands down.
For sure. There's no way else. He kept echoing in like post-race interviews how shocked he was to be in P2.
There was no way.
There were a couple people who were like, he's never happy to be here. He's happy to be here sometimes when he wins, but he's usually not happy to be in the media pen.
And and
yet he was smiling, joyful, enjoying the moment.
Listen, stop trying to drag my man down.
Hear me. You have swung me around. I still think when I disliked him, I had reason to dislike him.
Yes, you did.
But I think, thank you, but I think two things have happened. Number one, you. And number two, I think that he has softened, as you said, has come into some maturity and also just has been in a different situation. And so the call for the Villanera has gotten a little quieter in his car phone.
And maturity. He's gained, I mean, it's still spicy.
Yeah, exactly. And I want the spice. In the complete opposite side of maturity, P3 was Kimi Antonelli.
Yes.
Despite the fact that this man is 19 years old, and you would think he's immature, the maturity that is coming through every single weekend, I mean, I should stop saying this because it's obvious, but it's just every time there's a new scenario for him to have a spin out, both physically and mentally, he does not. He could have really spun out over that penalty, and instead he just buckled down and got the most out of the race that he could. And I think because some other teams fell down on their laurels, Ferrari, he ended up back on the podium. And so he's going into the summer break with, I think, 2 race wins ahead in points over P2 in the standings, which is Lewis Hamilton.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, so I think let's start with the first travesty that happened on the grid, which is that Russell, we gave him all of those kudos last year. Well,
it feels like last year.
And also, that's part of the reason why we all thought he was a shoo-in for this year's champion, is the driving that he has done in the last few seasons has been spectacular. Quiet, but spectacular.
Yeah.
And so what I actually meant to say is last week, in that we're like, oh, a lot of it is the algorithm in the car. A lot of it is something to do with the Mercedes team and with the way the car is set up. Still some problems with George Russell's driving, but like, look, so much has been cleared up. And unfortunately, we came to this weekend, and he still just isn't as fast as Kimi Antonelli.
Yes, all of that, yes. Russell had an anti-stall off the line.
Yeah. This golden chance for him, he's ahead of his teammate. This anti-stall, Toto Wolff has come out and said, that is on the team. You've got this really weird technical quirk this year. You've heard us talk a lot about the turbo in the engine, that there has to be a lot of time on the grid standing to spool up the engine turbo so that they have the power to move forward. That creates this specific quirk that it's like, if you're standing still for just a hair of a fraction too long, then your engine is going to bog down.
Yeah.
We noted that commentary early in the season, and we were like, is that a colloquialism, Or is that a new thing? And that is within the car, that it's just like the engine got flooded, basically. There is no forward momentum to happen. And so George Russell's golden chance flies away from him. He gets swamped by so many of the other cars. That's mirrored at the front of the field, because while Charles Leclerc was not in P2 on his own merit, he was in P3 before he got bumped up, but he did not qualify on the first front row. So it's not that bad that he gives up a place, right? Except no, he gives up 6 places because the team put him on scrubbed soft tires. Scrubbed soft tires.
Rachel, stop yelling at me.
I'm so sorry.
No, keep yelling,
about
please.
Tire strategy.
Yell more.
They have been doing so well, frankly, in the last couple races, and so they'd earned a molecule of my trust. That I was like, okay.
They lull you into a false sense of security,
Exactly.
and then bam.
And then they smack you over the head with a scrubbed soft.
Even the commentators were like,
That's a choice.
Is this Leclerc's on scrubbed soft?
Yeah. There was some puzzlement. Some puzzlement.
Okay.
Now, Lewis Hamilton was also on softs, but he was on a new pair of softs.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I don't like it, but maybe you guys have a vision.
Yeah.
The vision didn't work. It didn't work. So George Russell and Charles Leclerc get swamped. The person who wins in all of this is actually Oscar Piastri.
Yes, because Lando had a terrible start.
Yeah.
He made a big boo-boo.
Yes.
And,
the back of the car stepped right out on that man.
I will say, that first lap from Oscar Piastri was stunning. It was stunning.
Does everyone hear that?
Yeah.
Pin it in your
I can
brains.
say it.
Pin it in your hearts.
I'll say it a third time. Oscar Piastri did some very aggressive, amazing technical driving and was able to pass Lando on his own merit. And I loved to watch it.
And then?
Well, I mean, it all went downhill from there for me, for sure. But also, while we're giving him, I don't know, kudos, whatever this is.
I'll give him kudos.
Compliments.
Full-blown kudos.
All right.
You can give him
Rachel's baking you cookies. Mm-hmm. I am just, here's some Cheerios if you want some Cheerios. It is worth noting that Oscar Piastri did not have a ton of time to get used to that car this weekend.
True.
Because they put test driver.
Oh, I actually don't know who McLaren's test driver was. Let's elevator music for 1 second.
I just had it. Test driver Leo Fornaroli.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you. He ran the first practice session, which, and then ran the old spec in free practice too.
That's what's really wild to me is you want as much time with a new upgrade as possible.
Yep.
And so, of course, the putting a rookie in FP1, that is standard, that is expected. All the stupid clickbait headlines that are like, Kimi Antonelli replaced, Oscar Piastri replaced. It's like, guys.
Yeah. Calm your titties.
Pay one speck of attention to Formula One. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's no time in an upgraded car.
Yes. His car was upgraded. He had a new floor and only 1 hour to get used to it before the start of the race. So because of that, fine. I'll give you full kudos. Kudos, Oscar Piastri. That was beautiful. How dare you lose my respect at the end of the race? Shame on you.
It was such a high of climax of respect and then a plummet down to the depths of hell probably for you.
Yes. Thank you. I agree.
Well, so what was it that really perked your ire?
If we're going to really get into this.
Yeah.
This is a multi-pronged. This is a fork.
There are
so many prongs on this multi-layered cake of irritation.
Yes.
First off, we have papaya orders, papaya rules, PTSD, which is what you have written, and it is accurate.
I felt like we returned to 2025, but not in a way that I wanted. I'm really excited that Lando and Oscar were both competitive this weekend, but this brought to light, this is a frustration we both share, is I just don't love how McLaren treats their drivers over the radio. And that is a team philosophy. And McLaren won several championships with it. I have to give them that, but it is just not a philosophy that I agree with. Can't necessarily say that my own teams have the right of it. Frankly, Ferrari and Williams are problem children, but I just don't love the kind of like babying that McLaren tends to do to their drivers over the radio.
I could say it doesn't work. It's a bad strategy, but you are right. They have won multiple constructors, not drivers. So that's, I think, the key word here is because you have team meetings before every race. You go over your strategy plan with both drivers. What the fuck are they doing during that meeting? Well, are they having popsicles together?
Well, they're saying, if you got it, you know what? If Oscar's in the lead, then we'll give Lando the better strategy.
I don't
and if Lando's in the front, we'll give Oscar the better strategy. And then they say, hold on, that seems like not a great idea from our perspective, the drivers. And the team says, that's okay, we know best.
But Lando was faster.
He was. I agree with you on that wholeheartedly.
Thank you.
This was Lando's race to win.
Yes.
He made it harder for himself by his first lap incident.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about how we want teams to approach team orders, and I'm generally anti-team orders. If they end up in track position based on something that happened on track,
yes,
I don't really like the idea that the team is going to intervene.
I agree with that. However, what if team orders are necessary to build a gap between drivers behind?
That is just a personal preference for me. I don't like it. Like, I don't want to ever see team orders.
Yeah.
Especially, or maybe because of, I feel like I've seen it used in some pretty shady ways.
Yes.
I think that maybe if I started watching Formula One back in the days where Ferrari really truly had a number one driver, and if you were in that second seat, you were there to be used.
Yes.
Completely and totally used. Maybe I would have a different approach.
Yeah.
But seeing as how I came to my viewership of F1 with the idea that teammates are supposed to be somewhat equal,
yeah,
I don't like the idea that the team is going to meddle, because that's what it always feels like to me, is meddling.
I agree with that. If one driver is clearly faster, are there generally, because I've seen this quite a bit from Ferrari. When Max is that was
a Freudian slip.
No.
You said, let's bring it back to my favorite man.
Max, do not go to Ferrari.
No, don't.
Abort.
Don't do it.
All right, so if Hamilton is faster in pace, you will hear Ferrari tell Leclerc to let Hamilton pass, or vice versa. I have heard it several times this season. And again, we are upholding that Ferrari has terrible strategy.
No, I'm also not going to uphold that, because I think it's been better this year. I think this is...
Well, they've said it.
There have been some instances where they do swap,
yes,
but I think crucially it is never for the lead. And that is what we were talking about with McLaren boys, is that Oscar Piastri was in front.
Yep.
And while he was struggling with his tires and while Lando did have more pace, at that point in the race, Lando was behind because he made a mistake on track. And so that is my personal feeling,
yes,
is that I don't want team orders in that instance.
Rachel, that is a great point. And you are correct. Oscar Piastri held the lead for several laps because Lando made a mistake. That is not on anyone else except for Lando. That's correct. Good point.
Okay, rip the Band-Aid off, though, because you're being very kind.
I'm doing damage control, y'all.
You
look very pretty today. Did I already tell you that?
Thank you. But remember, this is where I'm
Listen,
at. I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's going to come out later. I can feel her. She's like I need an alter ego for my monster. She's like I could feel her waiting to come out when you're like, no, Tim. And I was like,
let's see. I feel like her name starts with a V. It's not Valerie, because that's terrible. But like,
I feel like she's like Marjorie.
No.
Like, it's like a really aggressive name.
Even while you were yelling, you're not a Marjorie.
Thank you.
We'll keep thinking on that one.
Okay, listeners, please let us know if you have a name for my angry alter ego.
Elaine's alter ego. I love this.
What a great poll. Let's put this as a poll on the episode.
Yes.
Okay, well, she here, she lurking. She's a little bit hungry.
Just below the surface.
She's literally like in the bogs, being bogged down by Russell's anti-stall. Buzzword. All right.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. Here's the problem. Because this track is more narrow than the other tracks, which I just proved based on my tech corner, it is very hard to pass on this track. This is why they keep saying this is one of those tracks where qualifying wins the race. Where you are, it wins. Obviously not, considering Lando made a mistake and Piastri was able to go through. However, when Piastri came through, Lando was being threatened by, there were a few people behind that were gaining pace and could have potentially passed him.
Sure.
Also, based on tire strategy, we knew coming into it that most likely it would be a two-stop strategy.
Right.
So Oscar was going to have to pit. So was Lando. Unless you're Kimi and you're just like, don't pit me ever.
Or unless, this is my harbored irritation, which is last year,
Yes.
where they ruined Oscar's race because they went with Lando on a one-stop strategy, which they didn't know at the time was going to be the preferable strategy. But it did, and it won Lando, the behind driver, won him the race. So that's why I came into this weekend. I filmed a little reel based on like qualifying and how they set up their session. And I was like, hopefully there's no shenanigans tomorrow. And then bam, McLaren shenanigans. We're back in 2025.
No shade, no shit, no shenanigans. And
Get
there
that
were
right
all
out
of
there.
them. Wait, can we call the episode that?
Quite possibly.
Oh my God.
We may have found our title, y'all.
Here's the shade. Yes. First off, clear the air on that. Spray the Febreze.
Sure.
Last
Palo
year,
Santo.
yes. I love Palo Santo.
Same.
Last year, we can both agree, both drivers got the shit end of the stick at some point in time.
So many times.
At some point in time, both of them were shit on. So we can't just say that they've always favored Lando, because they have not. I'm not going to bring up a certain race that I have forbidden myself to bring up ever again, in which they told Oscar Piastri that he was going to win the race, and so they made Lando pull back like 16 seconds. Anyway.
Can you imagine being a McLaren fan?
No.
Like, we're just operating on like the fringe of like, we like these drivers.
Right.
We like the sport in general. They're who won. But can you imagine the emotional turmoil of being a McLaren fan?
It's a very
you guys
parallel-
are strong soldiers.
It's a parallel track to Ferrari, honestly, I'm going to say.
It is. Except you guys won a championship in this decade, so why did I make it worse for myself?
Rachel, there's always 2029.
There's always 2029.
It
Don't
gets
worry.
closer every year.
Further away somehow. Okay. Anyway, we're on. What prong are we on in this
good
prong
God, I
cake?
forgot. Okay, so I think we covered the fact that Lando made a boo-boo. Piastri came in. Oh, this is the fork of like how Piastri's race crumbled into a giant dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Well, basically, Lando came on the radio and nagged 15 times. I'm faster. Hey, you know I'm faster. If you give me free air, I can pull a 10-second gap out of my hoo-ha. You want to see
Said
that?
with no tires.
With
That
no
was, like,
tires.
ultimate like
Literally.
hair flip
With
toss.
a finger up my butt, I can pull this 10-second gap out like none other. And they were like,
Okay.
all right. So they pulled Piastri in. He was going to have to pit anyway.
Yes, but my small point here is that I feel like that wasn't the best for his strategy. I feel like they acquiesced to what Lando wanted. But that's
Maybe.
neither here nor there. This is also a time that I have said largely, I don't understand tire strategy this race. So
I mean, this is very clearly favoring Lando. You can't argue that. I won't even argue that them pitting Piastri when they did put him into huge traffic. P6, P7, I think he came out P7.
I actually don't know.
Somewhere around there. So it dropped him down, but it did put him into heavy traffic. And Lando indeed pull this thumb out and then pull out a 10-second gap.
Yeah.
So-
Which is impressive, and that's why we keep saying, excellent, Lando, this was your race to win.
100%.
I can have these qualms about what happened with Piastri, but
I also-
Lando...
I do think Lando would have passed Piastri if given enough time and opportunities.
Yeah.
Lando made yet another fumble when he tried to pass Piastri a few laps later.
Oh, right.
And then he jumped back.
Flying off the track.
Big wobble.
Yeah.
He was 0.5 seconds away. He dropped back to like 2 seconds behind. Within another lap, he was back to 0.5 behind Oscar Piastri.
Very impressive.
Okay, so already, Lando's faster. We know this. Oscar's like, nanny, nanny, boo-boo, I ain't moving for you. And so McLaren stepped in and was like, well, we need to pitch you anyway. We're going to pitch you, Piastri. And then
And then...
come the series of unfortunate Lemony Snicket events for
Yes.
Piastri.
I feel like this is the one where the house is crumbling off the cliff.
Yeah. I want to talk about blue flags, and I want to talk about the Carlos Sainz incident heard around the world. But I want to quickly jump back to the beginning of the race.
Valentina.
What?
Maybe your alter ego is Valentina.
That's a hot sauce. And I love it.
Then that's perfect. Okay, maybe. Well, that'll be an inclusion just for people to noodle about.
All right.
Okay, back to the top of the race. What do we slap
I
at?
would really like to give a quick, very high pedestal to the Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen race.
Yes.
Because the idea that Max in that shady ass Red Bull can stay ahead of Lewis Hamilton, that blew my mind. That was the most excellent racecraft that I have seen all season.
Absolutely all season. This is, frankly, my favorite part of this season.
Oh, I love you saying that. It was spectacular.
Sorry, Kimmy has no place in this.
Get out of here, Kimmy.
Go back to the top step. Lewis and Max back together on track consistently has been such a gift, I think, to viewers. We've had all of these crazy things coming in that have maybe muddied a lot of the viewing, but Lewis and Max is just quality entertainment every single time.
Put it in a box, wrap it up, put it under my Christmas tree every single Christmas.
Absolutely. You can ditto that for me. It is so good. And I think that is why
I have goosebumps right now. Why do I have goosebumps?
Well, because they're two greats. They're two legends. And to see them in their prime, to see them in their prime. Goosebumps. Visible.
Literally.
Yeah. They just know how to make it exciting. Yeah.
Is Hamilton still in his prime?
Well, that's why I paused for a second to think about the sentence that I was saying.
That's
but
okay.
I think that he has wrested himself back from maybe a slow downside.
Yes.
This year, I think we're seeing some really great things from Lewis Hamilton.
It does feel vintage hammy. And this battle specifically blew my mind. I know it was really hard. I'm sure Hamilton was not happy with it.
Oh, I bet that man was furious because
Yeah.
I don't think he was prepared. And that is a crucial error on his part.
Yeah.
Because this was, if you haven't seen the move, what have you been doing? What rock have you lived under?
Please go watch it.
Absolutely. But Lewis and Lawson are in front of Max. And this has been a really crucial time that Hamilton has undercut using tire strategy to get ahead of Max. Crucial moment for Hamilton. This is looking like a big win in red. And then Max said, no. I'm going to, as they say, send it from a different postal code and just not brake.
Is that
Just
what they say?
fly. Yes. Just fly by. I do not understand how he stopped that car into that first turn, but it was straight up magic.
It was. It really was. And that's not even the beginning. So the beginning of the battle between Hamilton and Max Verstappen happened even before Hamilton pit for the first time. So they were having this iconic, epic race. And meanwhile, Max is complaining the entire time about
as he does.
Apparently the damping failed. Oh, I had no idea what that meant. Would you like to talk about the
I
damping?
love to because I looked it up on Reddit in a subreddit called Explain It to Me Like I'm 5. So I now understand what damping means.
Perfect. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Great. So it is basically, if we think about the suspension, the springs are what cause the car to bounce when you go over a bump, which, side note, Hungaroring was very bumpy this time. So that's what gives it the lack of stiffness and the availability to have that bounce. The damping is kind of the opposite action within that suspension in that it makes sure that the car doesn't keep bouncing.
Oh, like the porpoising. Similar or different?
Yes, a little bit. I think that the porpoising was so much happening that it was hitting the track.
That's right.
But this, actually that probably has something to do with it. The damping just makes sure that there isn't continual reverberation after a bounce.
Yes. Sorry. I believe the porpoising also has to do with the airflow.
It does.
And how close to the ground the car is. But, okay, that makes sense. So it's like the shock suspension within your suspension system.
Yes, it's like the springs versus the shocks.
Okay.
It's all within the umbrella of suspension, but it is like the control and regulation of energy within that suspension system. Basically, it's you're not going to pop back up.
Okay.
It's going to help you absorb the bounce, absorb the energy, and not continue to...
It's the plie.
There we go. We
All right.
found the dancing.
Y'all,
Exactly.
if you're a dancer, you know that the plie is when you bend your legs, and that is what helps you when you are jumping to absorb the impact from when you jump. You land softly, toe, ball, heel. If you don't, why? What are you doing? You're going to break your ankle and your knees.
So the damping would be you not popping back out of plie immediately. It's the absorption of your heels into the floor instead of immediately popping back out of the floor.
Like when the petit allegro, when the fast music in ballet is playing and we're jumping, but there's no time to plie, and so everyone's like, nyang, nyang,
right.
nyang.
That time, basically sans damping.
Yes.
But maybe a big grand jeté that you want to land in an arabesque and then push off to another thing.
Yes.
After a moment of like stay.
Challenging. Very challenging.
That's when you need damping. You need the damping to stick it,
stick it.
and then reintroduce the energy and go to the next thing.
I love this. I don't know if anyone will understand this except for us.
Well, there are a lot of dancers who listen to us, and we did it. Solved.
Oh, bless. All right.
Okay, back to Max.
Yes.
Extraordinary. He's complaining the whole time because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Because you don't get a championship winning car if you're not pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yes, and his car truly is fucked. That is his signature phrase this season. The car is fucked. It is true.
He said on Saturday, we don't just have tire degradation, we have car degradation.
Oh, yes.
Which is, of course, not a real thing.
God, I
but
love
that
him.
is such an illustration of how off it has been.
So bad. And yet, he is here, and he finishes the race in P2 because he is an extraordinary driver. And because of...
Hannah Schmitz, you wonderful queen of strategy.
Tire strategy.
Well, yes, exactly. Yes. Tire strategy, top. This is why I care about tires, y'all.
Tires.
I don't know what we're doing, but I'm into it. Anyways, so when he gets put on these softs quite late in the race, he's like, what proof do you have? Like, why are we on this tire?
I thought he was done for.
Yes, kind of same.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that my brain had not connected, that I had just in my notes praised Fernando Alonso for going 34 laps on a soft in his first stint at the beginning of the race. So I think his radio engineer, when he was saying, we have proof, he didn't say don't worry. McLaren would say don't worry, but he trust it. Never mind that. I don't need to get that bee in my bonnet. Anyway, they said we have proof, basically, and I think that's the proof.
Just make an Amish reference.
Maybe. Never had a bee in my bonnet.
I don't need to have that bee in my bonnet.
I've never worn a bonnet. I think so.
Woof, Rachel.
Woof. Oh, woof. We're learning a lot of things about me today. Never worn a bonnet. Can't whistle. Anyways, I think that Fernando Alonso laid the path, laid the track, laid the foundation for Max to make it to the podium. That's my thought.
Okay.
I genuinely think so. That's not me being a super fan. I genuinely think that is what they were pointing to when they knew that the soft could make it.
Okay.
I also feel like the hards just didn't really seem to work very well for anyone in this race.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why we saw so many stops.
Yeah.
We also had a VSC later, which was for dun 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 the cataclysm of the Hungaroring.
We're skipping a few things in between, but basically the giant Death Star that finished off Piastri's race in a DNF in P20 from a completely random, spontaneous, had nothing to do with anything else, gearbox issue.
Yes, but
caused a very brief VSC, which then skirt, everybody was like, oh, we could pit. This could take a long time. It did not take any time at all. And Max stayed out when everyone else behind him and a few drivers in front of him went to the pits.
Really excellent strategy. I'm really impressed.
Yes.
Who I'm not impressed with is Carlos Sainz. And let me lay the foundation here, which is he is in my top drivers. I think the world of Carlos Sainz, and a large part of the reason why I think the world of Carlos Sainz is because he's a very thinking driver. I feel like he's one of the drivers that has this vision of the whole race, and he does not get dialed in so much that he's only paying attention to his race.
Yeah.
And that means that opens up strategy, that opens up just like a wider, more informed vision of the race. This is not how I feel he was driving this race. And I will give him one caveat. in that the Williams is abysmal right now.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he's got a bit of red mist flying in his vision and obscuring his mirrors and his awareness of Oscar Piastri.
So what happened?
What happened? Well, so the first facts that we know are that Carlos Sainz hits Oscar Piastri while Oscar Piastri is trying to pass, because Carlos Sainz has been lapped many times. He's been shown the blue flag. He's supposed to get the F out of the way for the faster car, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what we know.
Right.
We then find out that there were a couple extra factors. Number one being that the blue flag's automatic system had basically failed.
Out.
Yeah, exactly. It had a lot of issues. And then the second thing that we'll get to, we'll return to that after we get back to the auto system, is Fernando Alonso was also in a battle with Carlos Sainz, which I think was not in the conversation when people are shouting at Carlos Sainz.
And
I
it
still
should
believe,
be.
I still believe Carlos Sainz should be shouted about for this incident because he was in the wrong. However, there were a couple things that are slightly to his favor. Do we want to talk about what went wrong with the blue flags first?
Yes, please, because blue flags are such a big issue that in fact, we could have made the blue flags, not a whole episode, but that definitely could have been its own segment in a later episode.
With as much it has come up recently, well, actually, see, when it comes up and when it is an issue, when people don't obey it well, it is a huge incident.
Yes.
But every single race, this is shown frequently, particularly this season, because we have such a stretch between the front and the back of the field. And so cars are constantly being lapped.
Yes.
Therefore, in F1, when you are shown the blue flag, you are supposed to, at the next reasonable time, usually a straight, you're not supposed to move over in a corner necessarily.
Yes.
But the very next reasonable time for you to deviate from the racing line to allow the faster car to go past, that is your obligation to do so.
Right.
Deep breath, deep breath.
The blue flags process has what I like to think of it as a 5-prong situation.
Sure.
Which is that, one, you have multiple ways to let the drivers know that they need to get out of the way for the lapped car to overtake you, or for the front runner, we should say, I guess, to go past you. So you have a steering wheel blue light.
Right.
It flashes on your steering wheel, which the drivers need to pay attention to so aggressively because we've made them reliant on the computer. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, the marshal is pinged, and there are screens around the track that similarly will show the red flag and the yellow flag flashing if there's a situation they need to slow down for. So there's that. Also, marshals can wave a physical blue flag.
Sure.
That's number 3.
We love physical things.
Yes, we do.
We don't need computers for everything. Says us as we talk into a computer.
With a million computer components around us.
Yes. Okay, keep going with the prongs.
Prong 4, the team will come on the radio to say, hey buddy, you got to get out of the way.
Yeah.
There's a faster car coming and they're supposed to pass you.
With some expediency. Move.
Yes. At your earliest convenience now, let them by.
Right. And then 5.
Number 5 for me is that also occasionally those LED screens will show the driver number underneath so that you know the blue flag is specifically for you.
That is something I'm going to have to tune my eyeballs to during the next race we watch, because I haven't seen that. But that is some information that you have gotten from the worldwide internet and your own eyeballs, right?
And my own eyeballs, which you made a good point. I guess you could think of as the 6th prom.
Yeah.
Prong.
We're all going to prom with this 6th prong, which is your own eyeballs. In the mirrors, use them. That is part of, de-escalate. De-escalate, exactly. Use your eyeballs, Carlos Sainz. Use your mirrors. You're going to tell me why that was not necessarily simple for him.
Right.
But let's talk about why the blue flags failed, which is lap 8 or 9. We're in the race. Things are happening.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, the computer said, we're not participating today. So the automatic system conked out, pooped out, as you said. And so they now have to radio to the team's race control, say, hey, this is happening.
Right.
We're notifying you on this. This is now more in your control. Teams and drivers, you're going to have to pay attention to the light panels flashing on the side of the road. You're not going to get the flag on your steering wheel, and you are in more control of letting your driver know when there is a faster car overtaking.
Right. So here's where multiple prongs fail at once, which I believe contributed greatly to this gross mismanagement of car function.
Sure.
So, okay. Also, I just want to harken back to last year when the splitting of the grid was max 0.5, like 10 in qualifying, tenths of a second. We are up to 3 minutes in qualifying.
3 minutes?
3 seconds.
3
Excuse
seconds.
me.
Yeah, I was like, nope, that's a different formula. That might be Formula 4.
Different formula. 3 seconds in between. That's huge.
Yeah.
In the world of Formula One, that's like 40 years. That's crazy. True. We did not see this very much last season. And Carlos Sainz himself, in fact, said, you don't see the blue flags very often in Formula One in the 2025 season because we were all mainly keeping up with each other. The cars are so messed up this season that we are getting lapped twice. Yeah. Twice. Now, what that means is that blue flags are flashing across the entire track. The entire track is covered in blue flags. Does that make it a little confusing? Yes.
Yeah, for sure. For
sure. So that's break off those prongs. You're already down 3 or 4. Okay. Then casualty number 5, number 10 is number Alonso.
55.
Number 55. Carlos Sainz, 55. Isn't that amazing? Did we just realize that?
I wasn't even... Ding, ding, ding. The prongs have aligned. Okay.
Prongs.
How many times can we say the word prong?
Prong. So Carlos Sainz, blue flags are waving. His team comes on the radio to say, Piastri behind, we need to let him by. Great. The normal thing to do, pull over. What does Alonso do? Makes a completely defensive move behind him to pass Carlos Sainz on the corner. Carlos Sainz, like...
On the straight, specifically.
Excuse me.
This is when
on
they should have been letting Oscar Piastri go by.
And that's a key point. Because why is Alonso sticking his Santa butt where it doesn't belong on the track? Blue flags are waving. If Carlos Sainz doesn't see the flags and think, oh, I need to pull over... Clearly, Alonso didn't hear it or didn't get the memo either, so we should be pissed at him. Carlos is like, well, fuck you, buddy. Guess I'm racing now. He gets back into it with Alonso, and then on a turn, Piastri thinks he's finally going to get the chance. Meanwhile, this whole time, Piastri's like, come on, you fucking idiots. Like, get out of the way. This is so dumb.
But we can broadcast that radio. Don't worry.
Oh, right. Clearly. Clearly. So... As Carlos Sainz is turning, Piastri's like, you know what? This is a good time for me. I think I'm just going to try it. Let's not wait anymore. I'm just going to stick my car right in his blind spot. Clearly he sees me, right? Right? My mirror is the size of a tiny sliver of wood. But this is a great time.
This mirror, I will give you that.
This is a great time to pass.
That's like a mirror on your child's bicycle.
It's like the mirror on your reflective sunglasses.
Yes.
That's how big it is.
That's about the size. That's true.
Yes. But, should have seen him in his mirror. The blind spot on that car is probably, you could put a total cow there. Like a giant black and white cow, a full steer with bull horns, and you would not be able to see it. So, when Oscar Piastri goes to turn his nose into the turn, Carlos Sainz hits him. Who is at fault here?
Sainz hits him.
Let me just...
Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz is at fault.
Agreed.
Okay, excellent. There are mitigating factors,
Yes, there are mitigating factors. I think Carlos Sainz is getting more heat than he should from this. I think Alonso should get more heat from this. And I really don't like what Piastri said after the fact and after the race about Carlos Sainz.
I actually think... Oh, unkind Elaine.
That's the alter ego.
I actually think that has a lot to do with why this has blown up, is I think that if Carlos Sainz had been like, you know what? sorry, that didn't work. I didn't see you. Then I think genuinely this could have faded a little bit. It was that Carlos Sainz kind of came out with a bit of this bravado about I couldn't see him. Like, he wasn't like, this is Oscar's fault, but he just didn't have any sort of awareness of, I think, how much this punted Oscar Piastri's race, which, as you mentioned, he then had a gearbox failure, so it's like, it was kind of a moot point anyway. However, I think that's why people are so angry, and Oscar had talked about the fact that Carlos is, as the president of the GPDA, probably someone who often points out when other people make errors.
Yes.
So he's always calling other people that they're doing things wrong, and then he's perpetrating it often. And so this is an interesting point where it's just another like flashpoint between drivers who are angry. Yes. And Oscar Piastri, to get angry takes so much. So I think that is I think that Carlos Sainz is warranted in the frustration.
Yes.
Now, let me say, people often take this to too crazy lengths. So, be reasonable. But I think that we can be angry at Carlos Sainz for this, and we can expect him to make better choices next time.
Yes.
Fernando Alonso, my dear sweet man. Why are they so many of my favorite drivers having issues in this race? As per usual, when is it not that? But he also has a little bit of fault in this. But that's okay. I don't think we need to shout it. Carlos Sainz can take the heat. He's a spicy, smooth operator. This is the time he can absorb that heat. He's now going to go enjoy his summer break. He'll be a little toastier, and it'll be fine. He'll come back. He will have agitated within the Williams garage, and maybe he will have a better car so that he doesn't get lapped umpteen times, and then everyone will be happy, and it will be fine.
Sunshine, rainbows,
Sunshines and rainbows.
magic, F1.
Give that man a car. You know who did have a car this weekend?
Who?
Kind of. Let me temper my enthusiasm. Aston Martin is no longer the official data harvester of the grid.
To you.
16 upgrades it took on the car to get Aston Martin to finish 13th and 14th. I'm going to have to fact check that. Do you know who is actually in front? Is Lance Stroll, because of a tire strategy thing. But they were competitive-ish. Fernando Alonso in Q2. This is the turnaround that I expected from Adrian Newey a lot sooner in the season, frankly. But I just have a lot of faith in that man's brain. After the summer break, we're going to get an engine upgrade. Honda's going to bring their best. Make it be your best. Do you hear me? And then hopefully...
From your lips to the F1 heavens.
Yes.
May it come true.
Please, please, please. Okay. That is, that's the Hungaroring for me. What else do you got?
I want to talk about what Oscar Piastri said after the race because I'm still mad about it.
What in particular?
This was, okay. I realize people are going to call me out for being hypocritical. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care because to me, this was it was a slap in the face. Oscar Piastri came to Dupress and he said, on the strategy side, you don't plan strategy for getting taken out by a back marker.
Oh, that's not that bad.
So I can't blame the team at all for that. I think that's rude as hell.
I think it was spicy.
I've never heard Max call anybody a back marker. I've heard Max call them all kinds of crazy shit.
Because none of them have taken him out before. Do you remember the last time we had blue flag scenario? Franco Colapinto got in Oscar Piastri's way, also ruined Oscar Piastri's race. So I feel like
maybe Oscar Piastri is just in people's way too. Maybe he's just annoying. He's like that fly in the back.
For you. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like this is a spooled up frustration from Oscar Piastri. And if we're going to give Carlos Sainz the little bit of you might be pretty angry that you're not in a great car. Well, Oscar Piastri was fighting for a world championship last year and is not this year. And so I think this is also just, while we've had a really interrupted season, they're probably tired and ready for a break from each other.
I mean, yes, clearly. But I want to know from the listeners, do you think that comment about Carlos Sainz being a back marker, Carlos Sainz could whip your ass any day on the track? So calm
I would love to see that, actually.
Oh my God. Bring Carlos Sainz to McLaren.
Yeah.
Put Piastri in a Williams.
It doesn't work like that, Elaine.
It's a swippity swappity boop. And then Piastri goes on and says, I mean, he was fighting Fernando for like last place, like it was the world championship, and it cost me the lead of the race. Boo hiss. That is not true. We do not know if you could have caught up to Lando, and in fact, Lando was clearly faster. So sit down, take notes. Oh my God, she's here.
She's here.
Elsine is
Valentina.
here.
Elsine.
She's bad today.
She's in the room.
So sorry.
That's fine because, yeah, I understand your frustration. That was pretty snarky. I think that worse things have been said, but it was pretty snarky.
I mean, totally. By Max, for sure.
By Max, yeah.
But if you're going to pretend to be this, like, Google AI computer boy,
I don't think he's pretending to be that way.
Okay, to me, he's pretending to be that, like, he's your sweet computer IT tech guy with the button up that goes all the way to the collar with the glasses. Like, that's his personality. Which, great. But if you're going to be that, don't also be like, oh, he was the back marker. Oh, why is he fighting me? I'm so much better.
Oh, he can have feelings.
No!
I'm like, there's a little spot to poke. I'm going to poke Elsine.
She's scorched earth today.
She is. And that's great because...
Okay, let's pet ourselves. If you're
everyone give
listening.
yourself a little, do like the little butterfly taps on your chest. I can't do it very well. I would always take, there we go. Like a little calming. Good. Good.
Snack,
Is everyone
snack.
calm?
Give it a little.
You should probably have some cake now. We've talked a lot about prong cakes.
We're so quiet now.
We're so quiet because we were like, yeah, we've expelled all of our anger. And now we're ready for the thunderclouds have passed. And now it's time for the rainbow.
All right, I know how we should end this.
Okay.
What is the one thing that you hope that comes through by the end of summer break? For me, I hope that Cadillac figures out how to not light its cars on fire.
Oh, that would be a great thing to figure out. Just, non-combustion. Keep your combustion engine, but don't combust into flames.
Yes.
Generally.
I genuinely would love that. That's my take.
This is not going to be popular with you, nor really anyone in our circle. I genuinely want George Russell to find his mojo. I just think it is going to be a more enjoyable championship fight if he is in this race. We talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
I want him fighting. I want Kimi Antonelli to win the world championship, but I want George to have
a fighting
chance,
shot.
a fighting shot. That's what I want. I want him to just turn off completely. That's oftentimes when you soak in the most information is when you turn your thinking brain off, when you let your body absorb the information and you just let it bake in. I think that's the time that you learn the most and are prepared to come back with the most fighting spirit. So
Yes.
I want that for him.
You know who should have gotten driver of the day?
Who?
George Russell.
Hannah Schmitz. Oh, but yes.
Oh! Hannah Schmitz, for sure. But George Russell, after his anti-stall, P20. And he worked his way back up
P6?
to P6, y'all.
And he was a little bit like, no one showed it on the cameras?
Literally, I just can't. And people are like, oh, the Mercedes were so terrible. Clearly not. George pushing from P20 to P6. I'm not going to sit here and be the hypocritical one that's like, only Max can do it. Because clearly, they have a great car. George can do it. So,
Reluctant kudos. Yeah.
Reluctant
yeah.
kudos.
Kudos for many drivers this race. Some scorched earth for others. But you know what? We're excited for them to take their rest and then come back. And then it'll be time for the Zandvoort Grand Prix. That's not what it's called. To be in Zandvoort for the last time.
Zandvoort.
They're
It's
gone.
the last one?
Yes. Yeah, I'm mad. Okay.
Oh, no.
Anyways, this has been a
R.I.P.
monster of an episode,
Yeah,
y'all.
this, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Are y'all exhausted?
Yeah.
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 We did a lot today. We rehearsed.
We did.
We scorched earth.
Yeah.
And now
Rachel
we're going
showered.
I
Yeah.
did in preparation. Did you see how calm I was and
I
prepared?
am glad I didn't. So that was
Soak
good.
it all in.
That was good for your energy.
Yeah.
I'm even sweatier now. So I'm glad I didn't shower so that now I can shower.
It would have been a moot point.
Yeah, agreed. Well, stay with us. Summer break is upon us. But we will still be here because one of us loves summer. It's me. Spoiler. Not Rachel. But But we will be here to talk about the abandoned tracks. We will tell you about the Malaysian Bahrain Grand Prix. Anyway, we'll talk about the Malaysian track.
Malaysia, Bahrain Airways.
Yes, that one. So stay tuned for that. We will also probably have some more exciting stuff. You know we like to pull stuff out and surprise you guys. So we'll have some other stuff throughout the summer break, and then we can't wait to be back with more F1, y'all. Stay tuned. Follow, rate, review, subscribe.
Do it.
All of it. All right, so with that, it's legs out, and away we go. We'll see you next time.